Alright guys, welcome to This Week in Wrestling, covering everything that's gone on over the course of this past week. A week which seen things go from bad to worse for social outcast Adam Rose, as he followed up his wellness policy violation by getting himself arrested and indefinitely suspended by WWE. Rose, whose real name is Raymond Lepin, was arrested on Wednesday morning by the Hillsborough County Police and charged with both tampering with a witness and domestic violence. As details began to come out regarding the circumstances of his arrest, it was revealed that Rose and his wife were involved in a heated argument, and that seen him grab her by the face, which resulted in the domestic violence charge, and then he took the phone off her as she tried to call the police, which is classed as tampering with a witness and is actually a felony charge, landing Rose in a hell of a lot of trouble. Following his arrest, in which he was held without bail, WWE issued the following statement, stating they have zero tolerance for matters involving domestic violence, and as per their policy, Rose has been suspended indefinitely. Now, in the latest on this situation, Rose was released from jail yesterday, but he will be returned to court in June to face a felony charge of tampering with a witness and a misdemeanor charge of domestic battery. In the meantime, he'll remain suspended by WWE until a verdict is given, but judging by all of WWE's recent releases and Rose already sitting on 2 wellness policy strikes, it's highly likely that once a verdict is reached, he'll find himself the next person to be out of the door. Speaking of releases, and while we thought last weekend we'd seen the last of them, earlier this week it was revealed that long-time WWE employee the Brooklyn Brawler is also being released from the company after more than 30 years. Brawler wasn't the only one though, as there was also a much bigger name released in former 2-time World Heavyweight and 9-time Tag Team Champion Christian. Christian was released from his in-ring performer contract, which was still ongoing even though he had been forced to retire back in 2014, although the good news for Edge and Christian fans is that this release is only in regards to his in-ring deal, meaning it will not affect his other commitments, including the Edge and Christian show. Filling up the space left from the previous releases, Monday night seen the main roster debut of NXT star Dana Brooke, as she made her debut in a backstage segment attacking Becky Lynch and realigning herself with Emma. The two then put the women's locker room on notice, stating playtime is over. Speaking of the women's locker room, and one particular woman that we could see return is WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus. Trish recently spoke to Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso, and she shared her thoughts on the current women's division, what it was like finding out she was going to main event Raw with Lita back in 2004, and most interestingly, revealing that she could physically make a return to the ring, but only if it was worth it and a challenge to her. Trish went on to further clarify that by stating that she'd like to do something different and unique, like playing a heel again, and that she'd like to be able to elevate both the women's division and the talents that she worked with in the process, not just for her own benefit. So in this week's question of the week, we're asking, would you like to see Trish return to WWE? And if so, what dream match would you book her in? You can see some of the Twitter responses scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Switching from WWE to Ring of Honor, and this week was a big week for the Bullet Club as the faction made their presence known at Ring of Honor's Global Wars pay-per-view, where they introduced a new member in Adam Cole. They didn't stop there though, as during this week's TV tapings they also introduced a new second member, so if you don't want that spoiled, you better skip ahead the next 30 seconds. Now that spoiler one is out of the way, the person joining Adam Cole in the Bullet Club was another Adam in Adam Page, both of whom were met by a great reaction from fans on Twitter as the Bullet Club began to rebuild after suffering some high profile losses to WWE. It's also worth noting that rather than sporting the Elite shirts, the group were back to wearing their traditional Bullet Club shirts, appearing to confirm that WWE have not bought the rights to the name, and that's why they're still calling AJ, Gallows and Anderson simply The Club on WWE TV. On the subject of The Club, it was revealed yesterday that AJ Styles is currently suffering from some niggling injuries, and therefore, as a precaution, WWE have pulled Styles from all live events this weekend in order to have him rest up ahead of his Extreme Rules match with Roman Reigns next Sunday. Finally this week, you may have heard details of next month's WWE live event taking place in Hawaii, as a local commercial was set to have ran during Raw announcing some dream matches for the event, and those included John Cena taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens going up against Brock Lesnar, and NXT Women's Champion Asuka taking on the WWE Women's Champion Charlotte. Following the commercial, there were a lot of rumours that said the show would be aired as a WWE Network special, with some places even reporting the show would be dubbed Bash at the Beach in homage to the former WCW pay-per-view. However, as of right now, WWE say there are no plans to air the event as a special, but considering the amount of interest the rumours have gathered, then hopefully that may change, but for now, the show is just a live event. Anyway guys, that brings us to the end of This Week in Wrestling. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, I'd really appreciate you hitting the like button to show your support. Let me know your thoughts on all of this week's stories in the comments. Have an awesome weekend, and until next time, I'll catch you later.